Hey y'all, it's Sharika back again with a video demonstrating a project that I did during my full stack web development certification course. So this is actually the second project that we did in the course. The first one was a refactoring project, and then we went into more advanced CSS principles in the next class. And so this was us where we had to use advanced CSS to make a portfolio page. So I'm going to show you this portfolio page that I built. Don't joke on me, man. These colors, I don't know where I got this color scheme from. Whatever. So then of course I have my readme. You can see what it looks like here. And then this is it, but I'm gonna go into the code, and of course you start with your lovely HTML, which we all know is the backbone of the web. All right, so we have here things that we did that were different from like the first thing that we had in the class. We actually pulled in some Google fonts here. So I went and got a Google font. And then I also went and got an icon. All right, so that was different that I had done. And of course I'm referencing my CSS style sheet in the head as well. And then of course I have a header, and I have nav links, and I have a section here, and then about me. Now here's where it started to get tricky, because one of the actual parameters of this homework was one of the pictures. The first picture had to be twice as big as the other pictures for the portfolio, and I'll show you that. Let me actually show you that now, just because. Right here, one of them had to be at least twice as big as the other picture. So this is, as you can tell, like if you're into this type of thing, this looks like a grid, right? But obviously this was my first introduction to grids, so this was the most difficult part, was making this, right? And so the issue that I had with my grid, as you can see, it's an image grid. I had to put my JavaScript in my HTML, which I know is a big no-no now, because you know, separation of concerns, but I 100% could not figure out how to get this to be a clickable link just in HTML with the href, just because it would throw my whole entire grid off if I did the a link, the link there, and I just could not figure it out. And then I went to good old Stack Overflow, and they told me that this was a solution, so I did it. I know separations of concerns, not cool, but it is what it is. You got to get it done. So did that part on the front, and then of course the main part of this project was of course the CSS, not necessarily using JavaScript foolishness. And so one of the coolest features I thought was the scroll behavior, and I'll show that when I actually go to the deployed page. And then with this, and you have your declarations, and then you have your selectors, and then you have your actual property and then value pairs. So you're declaring, these are your declarations within this declaration block, and then you're just setting things up. Margin, get away from me. It's like moving things outside of you, away from you, like how far you want those things to be, how you want your text to be aligned. Background colors, the font family that I pulled in from Google, you reference that. And then, of course, let me go down here. Let me see. My grid. Oh my gosh, this grid. Doing this, that was probably one of the harder things. And of course, you put the elements into where you want them to go within your grid. And then these advanced selectors here. So any divider tag, it has a class that contains this word here. This is what you want the border radius to be, right? And then you have hover states. I can't remember if that's a pseudo class. Is that a pseudo class? I think that's a pseudo class. I'd have to look that back up, just because CSS, after this, it's so funny, after this we really didn't touch CSS like that. We just started using frameworks for CSS like Bootstrap and stuff. So obviously that makes things a little bit easier, so you don't get down to the nitty gritty of like the transforms and changing your cursors, and then of course doing media queries, which means you're making it responsive to different screen sizes. So we did all of that with this CSS, and I'll show you what it actually looks like. Oh, why did I go all the way back? Could have sworn. Alright, so if you see this, and it probably won't even be responsive on my own. I've been having issues with my responsiveness. Oh, there it is. It is responsive. Alright, so you see those. That's interesting. It deleted one of my pictures. Why did it do that? You swear you have your code right. So it is responsive, and then of course you have your hyperlinks. This is the font that I pulled in, and then of course with the grid, if you click on it, it'll take you to the actual project. Oh, I know why those are different, because I actually changed those links, so that's something that I need to do. But yeah, and then you can email, and then actually it'll take you to the, you know what, I need to change that target to underscore blank, because I don't want that to actually open here. I want it to open a whole new, which is crazy because it does it here but not there. But yeah, so that's what that project looks like using the advanced CSS. Obviously some things, just what I changed is pretty much the whole thing, because this was just my first introduction to CSS, and I think I did pretty good considering. What say you? But yeah, so this is my second project, and then of course if you want to look at any of my other projects, you can always go to my GitHub link here. And honestly, I really enjoy the front end stuff. I think CSS is so cool, but I also think CSS is very difficult to work with, just because, you know, sometimes it just wants to wild out and do whatever it wants to do. So there you go. Hopefully you hit me up if you're looking for a front end web developer, ServiceNow developer, business analyst. I'm here and ready. Thank you for your attention.